The National Council for Peace and Order, or NCPO, had considered a number of issues and proposals made to the NCPO on the 26th of August 2014. And here are some of those proposals and issues and the decision reached by the NCPO accordingly. First of all, about the development of the eastern sea coast of Thailand, the NCPO had given its approval to the decision of the Committee on the Development of the Eastern Sea Coast Area during the committee's first meeting of 2014 on the 21st of July 2014. Air Chief Marshal Prachin Chantong, Deputy Head of NCPO and Head of Economic Cluster of NCPO, was the Chairman of the said committee. The first meeting of the Committee on the Development of the Eastern Sea Coast reached the following decisions. 1. Acknowledgement of the progress on the development of the Eastern Sea Coast that the governmental authority had carried out, the development work on the infrastructure, and the private sector had invested in the industry and continuous activities. However, there is presently the need for the expediting of the resolution of problems in the Maptaput area, Rayong province. This is due to the impact upon the area from the expansion of industry, including air and water pollution and leakage of chemicals that affected the health and confidence of the public. 2. Acknowledgement of the Japan's cooperation projects related to the development of industry and community that are environmentally friendly. There are 3 projects which are under discussion on the details of the study framework in collaboration with the Office of the National Economic and Social Development Board. Thirdly, approval was given on 1. The principle of the revised plan to solve the problems of Maptaput in a comprehensive manner by requesting for budgets from the national budgets of fiscal year 2015 onwards. 2. 8 urgent projects under the plan to solve Maptaput problems valued at 677.62 million baht by requesting support from the central budget of the fiscal year 2014 reserved for cases of emergency or necessity. And 3. The principle for the allocation of budget under special circumstances for the solving of Maptaput problems without being counted as part of the supporting budget from the government for the local administration organization. And fourthly, approval was given to urgent measures in solving the 3 aspects of the problems concerning the Eastern Sea Coast, namely 1. The transport infrastructure by organizing a plan to improve the road networks in the area of around Lam Chabang Seaport and Maptaput Industrial Estate, and the setting up of a plan to develop the transport infrastructure in the area around the Eastern Sea Coast. 2. The environmental issue by designating concerned agencies to solve waste, air pollution, and wastewater problems and appoint a subcommittee to monitor the management of environmental problems in the area of Maptaput and nearby areas, Rayong province. And 3. The water resource management by designating the Royal Irrigation Department to present a long-term measure to prevent and solve the shortage of water in the eastern region, as well as important projects to the Committee on the Policy and Management of Water Resources and the Ministry of Industry to consider ways to promote the recycling of industrial wastewater and the water conservation in industrial factories. The NCPO during its 12th meeting on the 26th of August 2014 also approved the target of the monetary policy for the fiscal year 2014 as proposed by the Ministry of Finance. On the 6th of December 2013, Minister of Finance at the time presented to the Cabinet the target of the monetary policy for the fiscal year 2014 as jointly approved between the Minister of Finance and the Committee on the Monetary Policy. However, there was the royal decree to dissolve the House of Representatives effective from the 9th of December 2013. The said target of the monetary policy designated the average quarterly basic inflation rate to be between 0.5 to 3.0% per year, and this is equivalent to the target of the monetary policy for the fiscal years 2009 to 2012. The continuous use of the target of the monetary policy will enable the business operators to anticipate impacts such policy may have upon their businesses, resulting in the confidence in the continuity in the state's policy. Over the last 6 months, although there had been no announcement of the target of the monetary policy for the fiscal year 2014, but the Bank of Thailand had efficiently used the target of the monetary policy with the average quarterly basic inflation rate between 0.5 to 3.0% per year, as reflected by the inflation rate remaining within the framework of the aforementioned monetary policy. Recently, the basic inflation rate and general inflation rate for June 2014 were at 1.71% and 2.35% respectively. Such target of the monetary policy still remains an appropriate framework that can be utilized until the end of the year 2014 and had also been approved by the economics cluster of the NCPO. NCPO also gave its approval to the Code of Conduct on the cooperation relating to Asia-Pacific civil aviation accident incident investigation and gave permission for the Director General of the Department of Civil Aviation to sign in the concerned documents. The Ministry of Transport had informed the NCPO that such operative direction had been approved by the second meeting of the Regional Aviation Safety Group, Asia-Pacific Region, or RASG-APAC, held in New Delhi, India between the 8th and the 9th of October 2012, and later the International Civil Aviation Organization had delivered the details for various countries, including Thailand, to consider their participation. The content of the Code of Conduct involves the promotion and development of cooperation among the members in the investigation of accidents and incidents of civilian aircrafts in Asia-Pacific region. Any conduct in the cooperation on investigation is designated to be carried out only as far as being allowed by the rule and regulation of those particular member countries. The signing of the Code of Conduct document will not have widespread impact upon the economic, social, political, and other aspects of the country, or to have binding commitment on trade, investment, or budget of the countries in a significant way. In addition, the objectives of the Code of Conduct do not intend to cause any legal binding commitment upon the member countries. As the content of the Code of Conduct does not designate any binding or legal commitment among member countries, should Thailand participate in it, the country will benefit in terms of the development of personnel in the field of civil aviation accident incident investigation. The NCPO also gave approval for the Ministry of Transport by the Department of Civil Aviation to adjust the Code of Conduct should there be any necessity to make any amendment that is not of significance or does not conflict with the Kingdom's interest without resubmitting the issue to the Cabinet again. And the NCPO also gave approval to the host country agreement for international expert groups meeting to discuss ways and means to prevent, investigate, prosecute and punish gender-related killing of women and girls. The Legal and Judicial Process Cluster of NCPO proposed to the NCPO for approval of the host country agreement for international expert groups meeting to discuss ways and means to prevent, investigate, prosecute and punish gender-related killing of women and girls between the Government of Thailand and United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, or UNODC. The mentioned meeting will be held during the 11th and the 13th of November 2014 in Bangkok. This host country agreement is the follow-up of the policy on violence against women and girls in UN venue of Her Royal Highness Princess Pacharakitiyapha, who played a great role in addressing the issue of taking action against gender-related killing of women and girls on UN resolution during the 22nd meeting of Commission on Crime Prevention and Criminal Justice, or CCPCJ. And this UN's resolution has been ratified by the 68th UN Assembly in December 2013. And one other issue I would like to mention is a draft of the Ministry Regulation BE on exemption of annual fee for the factory operators. The Legal and Judicial Process Cluster of NCPO approved the Ministry of Industry to propose to the head of NCPO to approve the revision of Cabinet Resolution on the 22nd of October 2013 regarding the extension period of the exemption of annual fee for the factory operators Type 2 and Type 3 for another 3 years since October 2013 until the 30th of September 2016, and amended to extension the exemption of annual fee for the factory operator Type 2 and Type 3 to another 3 years since October the 1st, 2014 until the 30th of September 2017. The NCPO also approved in principle of the draft Ministry Regulation on exemption of annual fee for the factory operators, which the Economic Cluster of NCPO has already approved. This new period we allowed 90,501 factory operators of Type 2 and Type 3 to be exempted the annual fee, which means the amount of 900 million baht or about 300 million baht annually will be exempted.